Are timesheets killing your business, or are they the secret weapon that keeps your professional services firm profitable? Here's a shocking and yet somewhat unsurprising stat. 69% of employees admit they don't track their time accurately. Yet most professional services firms still use timesheets to bill clients and to manage their projects. I'm Mike Hiley. I'm the founder of Hiley Solutions, and I've been working with professional services businesses for the last 30 or so years. Today, we're diving deep into the timesheet dilemma that's plaguing professional services businesses. Whether you're running a law firm, an ad agency, an engineering company, an accounting firm, this video will challenge everything you think you know about time tracking. As an accountant, I like to start with the numbers. The first question is, how widespread are timesheets in professional services? The data might surprise you. It certainly did surprise me, because actually I thought almost 100% of businesses would be using timesheets. But in 2023, 65% of law firms reported using online tracking software. But here's what's really interesting. We're seeing a shift from basic spreadsheet tracking to sophisticated digital solutions. The time tracking software market is exploding, and it's projected to jump from $5.23 billion in 2023 to $12.3 billion by 2030. And that's a clear signal that firms are investing heavily in better time management. And I actually only see that get accelerating with AI time tracking tools. But many firms are still stuck in the spreadsheet trap. I've noted that accounting firms in particular continue to rely on Excel or spreadsheets for time tracking, although there is a growing recognition that this approach is unimaginable as client volumes increase, especially with like smaller firms who are ironically actually the fastest adopters of automation and AI. Well, the trend is clear. We are moving from manual timesheets to sophisticated AI-powered solutions. But actually the question really remains is that solving the right problem? The fact is that timesheets aren't inherently good or bad. They're just a tool. And just like any other tool, their effectiveness really depends on how you use them. Well, I will say that the benefits are real. Firstly, you've got billing accuracy. A study showed that law firms using automated time tracking have captured an estimated 22,425 in additional billable hours per lawyer annually. And that's serious money left on the table without proper time tracking. The second is actually resource management. When you know where your time goes, you can spot the bottlenecks, prevent overwork, and make smarter hiring decisions. Thirdly, and perhaps in my opinion, most importantly, there's a question of client trust. Detailed time logs prevent billing disputes and show clients exactly what you're paying for. For example, whenever we invoice our clients, we actually send a detailed breakdown of the hours that we spend on each of the tasks every time with every invoice. Just means that we don't have any problems with that when with clients paying us. But there are downsides, and they are crushing. Remember that 69% accuracy problem I mentioned at the beginning of this video? Well, that's because timesheets are notorious for errors, rounding in what I guess researchers would call, or politely call, manipulation. Then there's the administrative burden. Timesheet completion is tedious, time consuming, and frankly, a creativity killer. When your team or consultants spend valuable time on documenting their work, that's time they're not actually spending on serving their clients. But the kicker is that poor time tracking directly impacts your bottom line through billing discrepancies, resource misallocation, and squeezed profit margins. And nobody wants that. But what if I told you that some firms have actually taken a totally different approach? Here is something that might surprise you. Many of the firms that I've been speaking to over the last 18 months don't use timesheets at all. These creative agencies and consulting firms have abandoned time tracking entirely, citing the three main reasons. They believe it's unnecessary admin that stifles creativity, the cost of policing it outweighs the benefits, and the data is unreliable anyway. And who can argue with the final point, given that we've just said that 69% of people struggle to track their time accurately? I'll be honest with you, though, I don't actually buy all of these arguments. For example, the stifling creativity excuse, in my opinion, that's just what it is. It's an excuse. But the other points do have some merit, especially around policing the costs and the data reliability. Those are real problems that highlight what happens when timesheets are poorly implemented. The question, however, isn't whether you should track time, it's whether you can do it properly. Because when it's done right, the benefits, in my opinion, do far outweigh the challenges. To be fair, though, the businesses that I've spoken to that don't enter time, most of them have some sort of alternative solution. Many use value-based billing. And it's gaining serious traction, especially in consulting, where 51% of firms using value-based billing fees achieved project values of $10,000 or more compared to just 39%. They're just using hourly rates. Legal departments report 20 to 50% reductions in outside counsel spends after switching to value-based pricing. Then I think this is a bit of a cheat, but there's automatic tracking, which is instead of people having to try and remember what they do and what they did and put their time to what they did, this is a game changer because these AI powered tools work in the background, capturing work activities without manual input. And some firms have reported saving 30 minutes per employee per day, which is 2.5 hours per week in saved time. I mean, that may not sound like a lot, but it is 6%. And check out our video on the value of 1% increase in chargeability that will have on your business. So, and calculate what 6% will be on your business and see what value that is in terms of cash in your pocket. The next thing that's quite common is using activity-based costing, and it gives you a surgical precision in understanding your true project costs. While this is not a professional services example, one children's hospital used this approach to identify efficiency improvements to decrease patient waiting times whilst increasing revenue. Then there is the task-based approach, and I worked with a business many years ago in Poland, actually, that focused on this, and the focus is on outcomes rather than hours. You assign specific deliverables with deadlines, assigning employee incentives to the business objectives. With all that said, the key insight is these aren't just billing alternatives. They're just fundamentally different ways of thinking about value creation. Now, here's where things get really exciting. As I've mentioned before, AI is completely transforming time tracking, and early adopters are actually seeing remarkable results. Modern AI tools can automatically detect billable work, suggest time entries for calls and for emails. They can even generate detailed narratives for time logs. Machine learning reduces time logging to as little as 2 minutes per day. Think about that, 2 minutes versus 30 minutes. We also have passive time tracking tools that work in the background, which capture computer activity without interrupting workflow. Law firms using these tools have reported capturing 1 to 5 additional billable hours a week. That's up to 1,650 in recoverable revenue per lawyer per week. And the actual accuracy improvements are staggering. Organizations using AI-powered payroll systems report a 78% reduction in processing errors and an 89% improvement in compliance accuracy. Let's be fair, there is a critical balance. While these tools boost accuracy and efficiencies, firms must address the privacy concerns and employee resistance through transparent communication and clear policies. So what are these industry leaders doing differently? The most successful firms are following several key principles. Firstly, they're automating wherever possible. Manual tracking is now obsolete. I'm sorry, but it is. Secondly, focus on real-time data and not retrospective guesswork. Thirdly, integrate time tracking with payroll, project management, and other building systems. And fourthly and finally, shift the focus from hours to value delivered. We're also seeing some interesting regional differences. For example, the EU mandates comprehensive time tracking laws, while the US focuses on more compliance for government contracts. These regulatory pressures are actually driving innovation to automated solutions. The standout trend is that most successful firms treat time tracking as strategic intelligence and not an administrative overhead. Here's the bottom line. Timesheets as we know it are evolving rapidly. The question isn't whether you track time or not, it's how to do it smarter. If you're not tracking time or you're just using spreadsheets, you're just leaving money on the table and frustrating your team. If you're using basic software, then I can say with 100% certainty that AI alternatives will bring you significant efficiency gains. Remember, technology is just an enabler. The real transformation happens when you shift from tracking time to capturing value. Ask yourself these questions. Are we accurately capturing billable time, or are our employees just writing 8 hours every day? Do our time tracking methods align with how we actually create value? Are we spending more time policing timesheets than data is worth? Is our timesheet process helping or actively hurting our cash flow? Enough from me. So what are your experiences with timesheets? Have you seen the 8 hours every day phenomenon in your firm? I bet you have. Are timesheets helping, or are they hindering your business? Drop a comment below and share your timesheet horror story or even success story. If this video helped you think differently about time tracking, hit the like button and subscribe for more insights on optimizing professional services operations.